And welcome back to Cousins Gymnasium on the campus of Tufts University for this round of 32 matchup between the Liberty League champion Skidmore Thoroughbreds and your host, NESCAC champion Tufts University Jumbos. I'm Sam Brill, joined by Scott Blatt, and we are thrilled to bring you this coverage here on JumboCast. Scott, these two teams punched their ticket into the next round with big wins last night. Can you walk me through those performances?
Yeah, well, Sam, it was really a story of two completely different games. One team came right out of the gates and really took the reins in that first half, and that would be the Tufts Jumbos. You know, a bit of a struggle in the first quarter, 19-19, but then they went on an insane 39-12 run to totally take control of that game and effectively coasted the way to a 15-point victory. Now, for the Thoroughbreds, it was a very different story. They struggled right out of the gate. They got doubled up in the first quarter. They trailed by 10 going into the fourth. They trailed by 13, 30 seconds in. But from there, they got hot. They made 8 of their next 9 shots. They took their first lead with 25 seconds left in the game, and they never looked back.
Absolutely, Scott, and it could be a really helpful thing for the Jumbos that they were able to rest their starters towards the end of that game, where Skidmore was able to catch fire and go 9 for 11 from the field in the final quarter. It certainly wasn't an easy road to get here for either of these two teams. The Jumbos played over a third of their schedule against NCAA tournament opponents, while Skidmore played about 5 games against tournament opponents. Can you explain what that means for a big game like this?
Yeah, well, you think it favors the Jumbos based on those numbers you just mentioned. Playing 10 games against tournament opponents, they split them evenly. They went 5-5. But, you know, Skidmore's had their fair share of tough games as well, including playing Ithaca 3 times. Ithaca, 15th. Ranked. That's higher than any of the teams. That's higher than the Jumbos, I should say. And they lost those first 2, but they won that third. And ultimately, the most important game to win the Liberty League, they won that 54-52. They're 2-3 overall against tournament teams, but they ride a 10-game winning streak. Sorry, a 7-game winning streak coming in, with the Jumbos ride a 10-game winning streak. Overall, these are just two really, really hot teams.
Yeah, and that can't be understated at all. A lot of star power on both of these teams as well, and they've got a significant amount of experience going up against opposing stars. We're looking at Julia Blank on the Skidmore side and Maggie Russell on the Jumbo side. Can you talk to me a little bit about the nuance in their games?
Yeah, well, the first thing that will probably stick out is the big point differential. Now, both teams are their team's leading points per game scorer. Yet for Maggie Russell, that's to the tune of 19 points. For Brand, that's to the tune of just over 8 points. It's a very big difference, and it speaks to the differences in each team. The other thing that'll stick out to you is Brand's blocks per game. It's really, really impressive. She's averaging just over 2 blocks per game. That led the Liberty League. That's part of the biggest reason she was named to the Liberty League first team. And so both players very similar, same height, forwards. You expect them to match up a lot today.
Yeah, that goes without question. One thing that we haven't shown you on that graphic, though, is how well Maggie Russell has been able to hurt them from behind the arc. She's shooting 29% from three-point land. So this is a player that can hurt you not only from the low block, but also from the perimeter. Julia Blank hasn't really had the same kind of volume from behind the arc, but has hit, again, one of the 11 opportunities that she has had.
And it really speaks to, again, the differences in these teams. I mean, no player on the thoroughbred side averages double digits. I mean, Blank at 9 points is the highest on the team. You have 4 players averaging 7 or more, 5 if you round up. And so, you know, it just speaks to the distribution on the team. The Jumbos have to be aware of that going in, that you know, there's going to be a lot of passing. There's not going to be that single player you can take away, because they game plan for everyone to be involved.
That's absolutely right, Scott. And as you said, moving the ball will be one of the keys to the game, but walk us through what some of the other keys to the game are going to be for these two absolutely scorching teams here on Ty Court.
Yeah, well, first it comes down to turnovers. You know, neither team is that egregious with the turnovers. Both win the turnover battle ever so slightly, but the Jumbos especially, you know, they average above 15 turnovers per game. That's well more than the Thoroughbreds, who are closer to 12, and that speaks to, you know, the faster pace that the Jumbos play with. Now, the Thoroughbreds took advantage yesterday. They really did, because in that fourth quarter, when they turned the game around, they did a couple things. They led fast break points. They went 8-0, and most importantly, they dominated the paint, which they had not done through the first 3 quarters. They overall lost the rebound battle by 19, but they won it in the fourth quarter. They won points in the paint in the fourth quarter. It was the single reason they were able to turn around, and that's a key as well.
That's absolutely right, Scott. And now we'll take you to our Medford Regional bracket real quickly before we get to the anthem. You see in the Medford Regional side, Tufts taking down Merchant Marine and Skidmore taking down Johns Hopkins in an incredible comeback victory. Winner of this game goes on to face the winner of the Trinity Texas versus Hardin Simmons game. Of course, the winner of the Wartburg and Hope game will face off against Christopher Newport and Elizabethtown. We don't have that on the graphic for you, but 4 of those 8 teams that we just mentioned will be in the next regional next weekend, facing off against the winner of this game. Now, as we get ready for the national anthem and the starters for this game, we'll turn it over to our PA announcer. starting lineups for both of these squads. Let us know in the comments whether your team #saddle up. Those are the Skidmore squads hashtag, or Team Jumbo's hashtag roll bows. Mamie Plage, the sophomore forward, coming out first for the Thoroughbreds. Announcing 1-1 from both squads, something that we haven't seen yet this year, but Callie O'Brien from Staten Island, New York, coming out for the Jumbos. No surprise there. She's been great for the Jumbos and really has heated up in these past couple of games. For Skidmore, next out is going to be Becca Horger. The sophomore guard stands at 5'5". For the Jumbos, Sophia Gonzalez, number 11 for the Jumbos. Number 12, Amelia Medola out next, another sophomore guard. For the Jumbos, it's Samantha Souza, number 12 in white for the Jumbos. Skidmore wearing green on the road, the Jumbos wearing their home white jerseys here in Cousins. Julia Blank out next, as expected, for the Thoroughbreds. Again, a leader for this squad, as Decker comes out next for the Jumbos. That's Annika Decker from Menlo Park, California. And last but certainly not least for the Thoroughbreds is Cassie Davidson, the sophomore guard, stands at a tall 5'10", while Maggie Russell comes out last for the Jumbos.
And, you know, something interesting we'll see for the Thoroughbreds, they had a very interesting rotation yesterday. Just, you know, taking a quick scan down the way the minutes were distributed. You know, you had you had 4 starters under 18 minutes. You had one only at 5, and then you had a lot of big bench minutes. And that showed on the scoreboard. The bench contributed 25 of those points on the board, including Cassie Davidson, who contributed, she had 10 points of her own, including, and most importantly, she was a plus 20 on the night. That led all sides, and considering the final score was only a 3-point margin, a plus 20 is pretty remarkable, Sam.
That's absolutely right, Scott, and, you know, that's a player that you're looking for to contribute huge minutes to you today. Again, an oversized guard, someone who can come in here and really make a difference against a lot of the Jumbo guards. You've got a couple of them down the list that can really give you big minutes between Hannah Kelly, Joelle Zeleny, and Samantha Souza. So expect Cassie Davidson to get big minutes here for the Thoroughbreds. And we're underway as Maggie Russell wins the tip. Annika Decker now to bring the ball up for the Jumbos. Rolls around a Russell screen, takes it to the rack, up with the right hand, but scoop layup's no good. Russell creates a second possession. And good defense trying to deny the ball was Davidson, but Souza gets in underneath. With the right hand, she finishes.
Yeah, we see the aggressiveness already on the defensive end, but, you know, if the defenders, especially down low, are going to be aggressive, that allows you to get an extra step and find the open woman, and exactly what Maggie Russell did there.
Now top of the key, Thoroughbreds find Davidson inside. Thought she got bumped by Gonzalez, but no call. Souza now finds O'Brien. O'Brien running the offense for the Jumbos. They've jumped out to a quick 2-0 lead. Up top, it's Souza, who looks immediately inside for Maggie Russell, but tipped away by Davidson. Now the Thoroughbreds looking to get back on the scoreboard. Davidson fakes a 3. Plage takes one of her own. Off the glass, no good. Grabs her own rebound, though. A tip from Blank. A 3 from Medola. Looked like it was blocked. No block, though. It's going to be Jumbo ball.
Yeah, interesting there. I mean, Medola had a step there, and Annika Decker was a couple steps behind there. And again, especially as not the tallest, you would think there was a lot of space to get that shot off, but no block, just a clean air ball there.
Now the Jumbos looking to add to their 2-point lead. O'Brien finds Gonzalez. Souza fakes a 3, but she's up and down. They're going to send this the other direction. Good defense staying home was Julia Blank.
Yeah, and you're going to see that throughout. Very good defensive side and good defensive rotations that Skidmore will bring in. Julia Blank is one. She led the league in blocks. She also contributed 35 steals. You saw her aggressive on the first possession, almost getting a piece there. Maggie Russell, you see her there. She forced a travel.
That's right, Scott. Both of these teams starting with that strong perimeter defense that we talked about pregame. Good drive there from the Thoroughbreds, and a foul on the floor against Decker on the hand check.
And I think they're going to get that Gonzalez there. Kind of got away with one earlier. We thought there was some body contact. Won't get away with it there. She needs to tone it down just a little bit, be a little less aggressive as the ball is received.
Right.
Avoid those touch fouls.
And Gonzalez known for her ability to shoot the three, as a miss there from Julia Blank. Again, Gonzalez known for her ability to shoot the three, not so much for her defense. As Maggie Russell has the ball in her hands. Looks for Souza inside. Souza drives and is blocked down low by Julia Blank.
And a great defensive play right there. You know, clearly it's the second time already, or maybe the third time we've seen the Jumbos go straight for Souza and try to get her penetration. But if you can guard her one-on-one, that takes away an option the Jumbos clearly want to exploit.
Maggie Russell going right at Davidson and finishes.
Yeah, and only a 1 inch difference between Davidson and Maggie Russell there, but you can just tell the gifted offensive player that Maggie Russell is. She gets any space in that close, it's probably going in.
Davidson now on the perimeter. Up top, it's Horger. She drives, brings it back out, finds Madola, who connects.
A little bit of miscommunication there by Callie O'Brien and Annika Decker. Not sure who was supposed to rotate, and left Madola open. Good offense by the Skidmore, recognizing that miscommunication.
Decker now in the corner finds Gonzalez for three, and Gonzalez finding her stroke early.
Welcome sign for a player who led the NESCAC in three-point percentage, but really, really struggled yesterday. Of course, it was overshadowed by the Jumbos' rest of the offense, which was very solid. But good to see her getting in the action early, and that was a contested shot. By no means was that easy.
Right, 1 for 6 from three-point land yesterday was Gonzalez. A three of her own from Madola, and she connects. Now Decker bringing up the ball for the Jumbos. Trading threes on back-to-back possession are the two squads. Now Decker, she drives middle. Finds Gonzalez. Into Maggie Russell. Cross-court pass to O'Brien, who takes a three of her own, and O'Brien connects.
Big shot right there, Callie O'Brien. Only 25% on the season, not a prolific three-point shooter, 5 for 20, but again, the Jumbos are able and willing to let that shot go early.
And snowing outside, but raining threes in Medford. Thoroughbreds take that one to the rack, and they're going to get Emmy Plage for the hand check down low.
And that was an unnecessary hand check right there. You had your forward, you had your, I mean, you can understand those kind of, quasi-take fouls if you're trying to stop a transition, but Thoroughbreds had all 4 women back besides Page right there. Just don't need that right now.
And she'll head to the bench. Now Decker in the corner, looking for Gonzalez, finds Russell up top instead. Davidson, the tough task guarding her, and Maggie Russell with the soft touch.
That's going to be a problem for Skidmore. If they can't take away Maggie Russell one-on-one like that, and I mean, Maggie Russell, just got a step on her own. It wasn't like it was transition. It wasn't any screen. She just beat her woman. And if that's going to happen, Thoroughbreds are in for a long defensive night. And
it's really only a matter of time before Julia Blank comes to slide. Good defensive intensity there from Decker poking that ball away, but it'll stay Thoroughbred basketball. And Madola to inbound.
And one interesting note on Madola, she's one of the rare players that shoots better from the three-point line than her overall field goal percentage. 37 from the line, 35 overall.
Blank had a lot of space, but deciding to pass it up. The Thoroughbreds will run the offense. Only 5 seconds left on the shot clock. They look inside for Blank. She gets bailed out with a foul down low.
Yeah, not too much argument there. It felt like more of a wrong place, wrong time. Souza was trying to rotate, and she did rotate. She was just a little too aggressive, and so they kind of just ran into each other there.
Now Madola. Davidson drives on Gonzalez. Nice move from her, but she can't finish. And a good job by Blank fighting for that rebound. It's going to be a foul over the back.
It'll be interesting if that's Souza again. Yep, 2 in almost as many seconds. Tough to take that many so early. And yeah, you'll see that substitution. Again, 2 tough plays right there. I mean, obviously you don't want to take those fouls, but what are you going to do there? Kind of wrong place, wrong time on both of them.
That's right, Scott. And Zeleny, who had a little bit of a rough game, again overshadowed by her dominant team performance last night. Skidmore now looking to add. They find themselves down by 7 early. A team that spreads the ball real well. The top of the key, that's Horger. Nice job by her. It's going to be out of bounds off the Jumbos. Zeleny doing a good job on defense.
Yeah, great defense, and we've seen it the last couple possessions. Really good defense by the Jumbos. They're just kind of getting unfortunate with these rebounds. You do want to see a little more sure hands.
Julia Blanc doing a good job finishing for the Thoroughbreds.
And the Thoroughbreds have been trying to get her the ball. Blanc has been calling for it almost every possession, multiple times in the post, just like Maggie Russell is there. The difference is the Jumbos are getting it to Maggie Russell, and although she misses it there, it's a good possession, whereas the Thoroughbreds, whether they don't like the look or they don't feel confident going up against Maggie Russell, they're not getting the ball down the post, and they haven't been able to convert.
That's right, Scott, and now we've got this media timeout. You know, got to give credit where credit is due. Skidmore has not really found themselves fouling Maggie Russell and bailing her out as she gets down low. Davidson has done a really good job standing up tall, and during this media timeout, it would be a smart time to say that Davidson is the sister of one of my good friends, Connor Davidson, who plays on the Tufts University baseball team, but regardless, doing an excellent job down low against Maggie Russell.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge, right? I mean, Maggie Russell is one of those players, especially if you feel comfortable leaving her one-on-one, where you know she's going to get some shots up, and you know when she gets the shot up, there's a high likelihood it goes in. And it comes down to then good on-ball pressure, good ball denial, to make sure that her volume isn't that high. And so far, she's only taken 3 shots. That was her first miss right there. And you're okay with her hitting a couple of layups as long as it doesn't lead to other possessions being open. You'll give a little to stop a lot.
That's right, and giving a little to stop a lot is certainly the case. It would be interesting to see if Blanc comes in a little bit later on the slide defense if Davidson starts to struggle. But
yeah,
she's done a pretty good job so far, limiting Maggie Russell to 4 here in the first quarter. Now we've got inbounds pass. It's going to be the Jumbos and O'Brien looking to get it in. They get it immediately to Russell. She goes to work against Davidson, and she's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, again, just to exactly your point, you know, there's nothing Davidson can do any better there. I mean, she's only giving up 1 inch. It's just Maggie Russell's ability to get shots off, and she'll have that shot available almost every time.
Now Horger. Outside, it's Blanc. Russell guarding. She's got to kick it out. Davidson drives. She kicks. The 3. And the great roll for Madola.
You know, the Jumbos technically aren't home, so maybe either team can claim the home court role, but you know, that play was made by Davidson there. Great job to drive, take, and force multiple people to rotate and opened up the perimeter.
And Gonzalez forcing up a shot. Skidmore stays home, though. Hastings on the defense. Now in transition, it's Davidson. Russell doing a good job, and it's a steal from her.
Davidson can't allow herself to get double-teamed on the baseline like that. She had multiple trailers. She has to look behind before she gets down there.
Yeah, Davidson wisely picking her up at half court. We know Russell's such a threat down there. Zeleny, the 3. Got it.
That's only Zeleny's second 3 of the season. It's a 1 for 5 before, now 2 for 6. It's a 13% increase in the shooting percentage overnight.
Now Skidmore looking to answer. Davidson fakes a 3 of her own, finds herself trapped, kicks it out for Blanc, who can't connect, but Skidmore on the rebound. Now Horger, a 3 of her own, no good. Davidson fighting for the board, but O'Brien steals it away.
Jumbos got bailed out a bit there. You know, not so much on the rebound. It was a long rebound, but there got to be a better rotation there. Can't get caught streaking, especially when you're up a few points here. Don't need to give them any freebies, and that could have been one right there.
Gonzalez, the 3. Didn't look like she set her feet, but doesn't matter. Again, raining 3s here on a snowy day in Medford.
And she's showing that yesterday was the anomaly and that today is the pattern. You know, there's a reason she was leading the league in three-point percentage, and yesterday was not that reason. Today is.
Jumbo's up by 10 here as Davidson drives. Nice move from her, and she kisses it off the glass for 2.
That was a great fake, especially because the way she faked, the direction she faked it, forced Maggie Russell to rotate away from her. And then and Russell was just out of position to rotate there. Unbelievable play by Davidson there.
Now Decker trying to run the offense, finds O'Brien. Zeleny at the free throw line, looking for help. Gonzalez fakes a 3. She drives. The runner misses everything. It'll be Skidmore ball.
And I do think Joelle Zeleny might have gone away with a moving pick there, but ball don't lie, it seems. And you can see coaching staff and the bench for Skidmore is pretty up in arms about that. But they'll take the ball back, and it'll be interesting to see. They're making a clear effort to get Blanc involved a little more in the last couple of possessions, but so far she's still been pretty quiet.
Good drive from Skidmore. Horger into Blanc. Strong pass back out to the perimeter. We've preached perimeter defense. Now Blanc blocked, but she falls on it. It's going back in the Jumbo direction. Looks like an offensive foul against Blanc.
And it was really interesting on the first pass into Blanc right there. She took one dribble and she immediately looked to pass. I think it's the presence of Maggie Russell right now, and the Jumbos need to do and they've been doing a great job of avoiding any rotations. On the other hand, for Skidmore, they need to force screens. They need to get Maggie Russell. That's a travel right there. They need to get Maggie Russell off of Blanc, because right now Blanc is not able to drive when she's matched up.
1:47 left to go in this first quarter. Jumbos lead by 8. They've had a strong quarter as a team, shooting 8 of 13. That's 61.5%. Skidmore, right around their season average. Looking to add here. It's McCarney, wide open lane, and she finishes. Now Decker looking to answer for the Jumbos as we're within 6. Hannah Kelly freshly in the game for the Jumbos. Drives, finds Zeleny. Zeleny looking to force it to Russell. Instead they get it to Decker. Decker to Zeleny, who drives, gets it to Russell. Russell not in position, takes the mid-range jumper and sinks it.
I mean, that's just the power of Maggie Russell, you know. You want to come into a tournament saying, we'll win this game with good team basketball. But when that fails, it helps to have someone who can just do that. Broken possession, it doesn't matter. Maggie Russell converts.
And the long 2 from Skidmore, that was Madola. Can't get it to go. And Zeleny now finds Decker. Jumbos can go 2 for 1 here, and Decker will do that. Nice move from her. Off the glass, can't get it to go. Looked like she rolled an ankle. But she's back on her feet. Back in the possession, Maggie Russell steals it away.
Great quarter wearers by Maggie Russell, baiting that pass, knowing full well that Decker was about to catch up.
And the Jumbos have plenty of time, but that one's going to be on the floor against Davidson. 3rd team foul for Skidmore, so it'll be a side out. Andy Levitz to come in for the Thoroughbreds.
I thought they could have given a little continuation there. It looked like the body contact was, she didn't take another dribble, was going in, but not too much complaining. And I mean, no reason to for the Jumbos. I mean, the offense has been moving very, very well to start this game.
You'd like to see Russell take it a little deeper into the possession, of course, with only a 4-second difference between the shot and game clock. Zeleny finds Gonzalez for 3. She can't connect. Skidmore now, final possession of the quarter. They trail by 8. It's McCarney handling. McCarney, the pull-up jumper. No good, and Russell has it. She's trying to push the length of the floor. Doesn't get the shot up, though, and we'll be headed to the second quarter. Jumbos will start with the ball, but a strong performance from both of these two squads in the first quarter. Scott, what do the Thoroughbreds need to do to get back into this game?
Well, they need to be a little better on the offensive end and a little quicker in the passing game. You know, we talked about how they're best when they're distributing the ball, when they don't need to play through one player. And you look up and down and you say, well, the Jumbos are doubling them up in assists right now. And obviously that's a product of, they've scored more baskets. But at the same time, you could argue they've scored more baskets because they're being better at distributing the ball. And I do think that Skidmore could be a little better, especially quicker passes earlier in the shot clock, force the Jumbos into switches, and in particular get Maggie Russell moving and out of position, because she's been really, really good defensively and really shutting down a lot of the Skidmore's possessions so far.
And interesting you should say that, Scott, because Skidmore's out offensive rebounding the Jumbos and out rebounding them by 1. So they're creating those second chance opportunities, just can't quite convert, only 6 of 16 from the field. But again, that's right around their season average as a squad.
Right, and that you're right. They only average not too many baskets per game, whereas the Jumbos are a higher scoring team. And you look up and down, and exactly like you said, number of field goals attempted, it's even across the board. It's 16 and 16. It's just the Jumbos have made 3 more. And that's reflected on the scoreboard. They've also hit a couple threes. That makes up your 8-point difference right there. And so it's a matter of getting better shots. It's not a matter of getting shots, but getting better shots. Skidmore's been good enough with the ball. They haven't turned it over enough to give the Jumbos too many free possessions. They've been good on the boards. They just need to convert, and that's going to come from more efficient offense.
Right, and digging a little deeper into the box score, the Jumbos have 8 assists already on 22 points. I mean, that's huge. Skidmore only 4 assists, 14 points. So you look at it in terms of a proportion, you're looking something similar. But if Skidmore continues to move the ball well, to look for those good quality looks, they could be back in this one pretty quickly. We're back underway here in the 3 from Levitz. No good for her. She was a weapon from three-point land yesterday, but Skidmore getting themselves another possession. A little bit of broken defense for the Jumbos, but they reset. Levitz had a wide open look. Now McCarney handling for the Thoroughbreds. She drives. Met by Russell. Nice move from her. Puts it up, and it's good. Gets tripped up at the end of it, but just 2 points for the Thoroughbreds.
Yeah, and Maggie Russell moving that right arm a bit. She took a tough fall going for that rebound. She looks to be okay, but I think she was a little focused on that arm and a little out of position on the defensive end, but can't really blame her. And you hope she's okay, first and foremost.
And immediately that double team comes against Russell. Skidmore changing up their defense. Decker for three. Can't get it to go, but Hannah Kelly grabbing the rebound. And Skidmore right in there fighting for it, getting a little chippy down there.
Yeah, it felt like, Hannah Kelly could have gotten a foul there. We saw one called earlier on Sousa that looked like a very similar play in which the rebounder came down, made body contact, and they called a foul there based on the contact alone. Felt like Kelly could have drawn one there as well. They didn't call it, but the Jumbos will take the ball back.
Now Caitlin O'Boyle in the game for the Jumbos. Looked like Folliard might have entered, but instead they go to O'Boyle, and Decker turns it over. Nice steal from Levitz. Now Skidmore heading the opposite direction. Plage picks it up. Skidmore starting their offense. That's McCarney at the top of the key. Now Hastings. Nice move from her with the left hand. Can't get it to go. Zeleny in there for the rebound. It's going to be a foul against Skidmore. Zeleny doing a really good job to secure that one.
Absolutely, but that's a basket you need to get when you're down 6 points. I mean, a couple things there. I think first, Plage had an opportunity on the transition. She's a 40% three-point shooter now, not high volume, 8 for 20, but I think she had space there. She could have taken that shot, especially given how Skidmore struggled to get open looks. Then, of course, in the layup, you really just need that. Can't have that one roll out like that. But, credit where credit is due. Zeleny right there to grab that board and fight off two defenders.
Now Gonzalez finds Zeleny, who drives. Now O'Brien drives herself. Pass too hard for Hannah Kelly. It's a turnover. Skidmore now slowing the pace, though.
Jumbo spacing has not been great since Maggie Russell left the game.
Hannah Kelly looks a little shaken up after that, but still locked in on defense. The long three, and it's good.
Chambers, not a horrible three-point shooter, 30% on the season, 10 for 24. I mean, again, that's a shot I think the Jumbos are probably okay with, tough shot like that.
And O'Boyle, the quality look in the conventional three-point play. She'll be headed to the stripe looking to make it three.
Yeah, good job by Boyle, just recognizing that she had a step towards the basket, going straight up, drawing the contact, finishing through the contact, and that three at the top of the key basically wiped out right there.
Zeleny and Hannah Kelly taking a bit of a rest as Sophia Davis enters with Maggie Russell. O'Boyle looking to add to the Jumbo lead. It's up and good for her.
Davis had 10 points yesterday, 4 for 5 shooting. A lot of that action in the second half when the game was comfortable, but still, she played very well when she saw minutes.
Davidson a three. Off the back iron, no good. Callie O'Brien, the beneficiary of the long board. The Jumbos push the pace and find Russell in transition. Guarded by Davidson. They get Davidson on the push.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that defensive rebound. You saw something with the Jumbo. you saw a long rebound like that. You know what happens is those come out a lot, and those are the ones that can turn into, offensive rebounds. But the Jumbos basically let all five defenders to stay back and go for the boards, and that's exactly what you do against a team that usually dominates the paint, that tends to win the rebound battle, that won it in the first quarter. It's a good adjustment, and it's a good job stopping those second chance points.
Maggie Russell now all alone, fouled on the body by Plage. Interesting that we haven't seen Blank match up against Maggie Russell just yet. We saw Davidson exit there. I expected Blanc, who was coming in, to face off against Maggie Russell, but taking O'Boyle instead. And on the slide, Maggie Russell gets fouled and is headed to the line. Jaslyn Chen now to enter. A little bit more height than Emmy Plage, who she enters for. Russell's free throws up and good. Jaslyn Chen, the first-year forward, stands at 6'1", so hoping to use a little bit more size to stymie Russell's momentum. Skidmore fumbling the rebound, but regains control and slows up their offense. McCarney drives, puts it up with the left hand. It's no good. Maggie Russell grabbing the board, and O'Brien in transition finds Davis. Davis into O'Boyle. O'Boyle turns, but they get her for the travel. Didn't seem to put the ball on the ground quick enough and shuffle both those feet as she turned. Now Skidmore heading the opposite direction, still trailing by 7.
The one thing you can't do to let a team get back into it is give them free possessions. It's only one. The Jumbos have only had, that's their 6th turnover now. Skidmore's had 5, so nothing crazy there, but can't make it a habit. Got to get back into your offense next time you have the ball.
Notably, turnover battle at 3-0 in this quarter, though. Blanc now, top of the key. It's McCarney looking immediately for Jaslyn Chen, fresh in the game, and they get the Jumbos for a foul. That's O'Boyle on the push.
Yeah, you've seen the standard has been set. This has been true for both sides. A lot of the initial contact when the ball's received and the first body contact. If you're not very clean with it, they're calling a lot of fouls right there. Both teams need to be aware of that.
There's Jaslyn Chen. She can't finish, but they get O'Boyle on another whistle and 2 quick fouls for Caitlin O'Boyle. We'll see if Folliard's going to enter for her. And off comes that warm-up. Folliard getting ready to come into this one for Caitlin O'Boyle.
It was a really good job by Jaslyn Chen. She only averages 2 rebounds per game, and that's about to be expected given her size. But that was a really good recognition on the weak side to know that the person who should be blocking her out had rotated, and she had an easy lane.
Jaslyn Chen only getting 8 minutes of run time per game on average. First free throw up and good.
Always love to see the left-handers get some shots up.
And McCarney, the lefty, the crafty lefty guard, looking to cut the deficit to 5. Second one's up and no good, and Maggie Russell grabbing the board. Jumbo's not pushing the pace. O'Brien calls the play, finds Davis on the wing. Now Folliard up top. Folliard into Russell, and that's too easy.
Yeah, Thoroughbreds got to make an adjustment. That's time and time again, Russell has that initial step, and it's just well-executed pass. There's got to be someone between her and the basket these possessions, and there just hasn't been.
Blanc answering right away, though, with her pull-up jumper. Now O'Brien, top of the key, finds Folliard. Folliard finds Gonzalez on the backdoor cut. It's good.
The Jumbo's offensive execution, especially in the paint, has just been outstanding. Whether it be Maggie Russell, we saw a couple possessions with Souza really early in the game, Gonzalez there. Those over-the-head passes to someone as the last line of defense is between them and the front court. Easy points.
And the 3 from the 6-footer, Chen, is no good. Now Gonzalez finds Russell. A lot of space for her. Too much space, but she can't make him pay. And Skidmore grabs the rebound. That's Blanc. McCarney finds Levitz. The 3-point threat. Immediately trapped, though. Passes and into the hands of O'Brien, who pushes the pace. Has Folliard running with her. O'Brien. The hook layup, no good.
O'Brien had a couple trailers there. Would probably have preferred to see a pass out.
Now McCarney handles for Skidmore. We'll have a media timeout at the next stoppage of play. Levitt passes up her shot, finds Chen. Chen. And a nice shot in there from Blanc. Can't get it to go, though, but is fouled. She'll be at the line shooting 2.
Looks like they got Davis from behind there, because it looked like Maggie Russell made the play on the ball, and she was the one who seemed to react, but they just announced it as Davis. It must have been, which I guess makes sense, because I think based on Maggie Russell's reaction, based on our perspective, it looked like she got clean ball, but there must have been something else, behind the back.
Absolutely. The Jumbos head into this media timeout as we're halfway through the second quarter, up by 8. Scott, second quarter's looked a whole lot like the first quarter. Skidmore, though, has gone a little bit cold, has had a couple more opportunities. The Jumbos have turned the ball over a little bit more, but have found their stroke from the field. Talk to me about what the Jumbos have been doing well.
Well, it really starts, I still think, on the defensive end. Their offense has slowed down just a tad here, but defensively, they continue to make things really, really difficult for the Thoroughbreds. They're not able to get into any rhythm on the defensive end. And the Jumbos, at the same time, they've had a few more turnovers, like you mentioned, and they themselves have been a little out of sync offensively. But at this point, I think you're okay with that because, although they're the Thoroughbreds are within striking distance, a lot of those points, you saw Blanc hit a tough shot from the top of the key. I mean, these are not easy baskets they're getting. They really have to work, and it just feels like the Jumbos are a step or two from tightening up and really taking control of this game. But the Thoroughbreds, on the other hand, you can't let that happen. You need to get into a better rhythm offensively, and most importantly, you need to make some defensive adjustment to take away, inside that circle, inside the paint, because Maggie Russell, Sofia Gonzalez, we saw in a couple possessions ago, they're wreaking havoc in there.
Absolutely. Now Blanc at the line, set to shoot 2. Just free throws number 3 and 4 for Skidmore in the second quarter. First one's up and good.
And the one thing the Jumbos should be particularly wary of is giving Skidmore free points at the line. It was, we talked about changing the game, and Skidmore really turning the tides on Johns Hopkins yesterday by dominating the paint. They also got 15 free throws in the fourth quarter alone and made 10 of those. They basically used those to almost entirely close the gap, and the Jumbos need to be sure-handed on the defensive end. Don't give them anything free.
And Folliard catching that with one hand. O'Brien the assist, threading the needle down low.
Great reception, but yet again, another possession in which it's a Jumbo with no one between them and the basket. I mean, Thoroughbreds need to make an adjustment. They're just getting beat almost every possession not that way.
Right, and the strategy defensively so far has been deny, deny, deny. There's the 3 from Chambers, no good. Decker on the rebound. The strategy's been deny, 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 but when you're not succeeding in denying the ball, you leave a wide open layup right behind.
And the Jumbos are being really smart about it, and they're not crashing the paint too much. You only have 1 or 2 people in the paint at most, and that allows, as you see right there, it allows forces the defenders to stay out of the paint, and they can't rotate. You actually did see a little movement when the ball was. There was initial fake right before that pass that was going to go to Maggie Russell, and you did see defenders start to adjust and start to move towards the paint. Maybe that is a sign of an adjustment, but even here, Maggie Russell was still able to receive the ball and get to the line.
Now the Jumbos receiving 2 free throws the whole rest of the way as Maggie Russell sinks her first. 5 fouls on the Skidmore Thoroughbreds. Could be trouble here in the second quarter. Russell's second's up and good, and the Jumbos lead by 10.
Yeah, it definitely could be true. I mean, Skidmore's got more shots up in this quarter. The Jumbos are taking advantage. They have a few points at the line now. And again, Skidmore's just still not being very efficient. Only 3 for 10 in the quarter. Jumbos 4 for 7. Jumbos haven't needed high volume because they've been making their shots and they've been making their free throws.
Now the Thoroughbreds looking to answer. There's Chambers. Around that's Meyer. And Decker takes it right away from her. It's a travel anyway, headed the Jumbos' direction.
Yeah, I think everyone thought they were going to call a foul there. Good thing they didn't. And honestly, for the Jumbos, they probably would prefer a no call, losing that transition opportunity there. But even still, it's great awareness by Annika Decker. To just know exactly where the ball is going to be coming off that drive and just take it right away.
Now O'Brien looking for Folliard. Instead goes to Russell, who finds Folliard. Folliard down low. Good defense from the Thoroughbreds. They're pushing the pace in transition. Don't have numbers, though. They'll slow it up. And there's McCarney, the senior guard. Pull-up jumper. No good with the left hand. And now Decker pushing the pace in transition. Gonzalez wide open. Can't get it to go. Folliard, second chance opportunity. Gonzalez drives. Finds Russell. Russell one dribble. It's up and good for Maggie Russell.
I mean, Maggie Russell, she cannot be stopped in the paint right now. It's just unbelievable. We can talk about defensive adjustments all you want, but Maggie Russell, that's great defense right there. And even if there was contact, which there was, at the very least, don't expect Maggie Russell to be able to make that shot. To then make it, get the and one. Maggie Russell has taken over this game, played inside out, and it's allowed the Jumbos to expand their lead to the largest it's been all night at 13.
And 16 points on some efficiency, 75% from the field. She's 6 of 8. And 4 for 5 from the charity stripe. So Maggie Russell doing it all for the Jumbos so far. Their star power has been clear. Skidmore now looking to answer. They only trail by 13, and Gonzalez gets called for the hand check.
That looks clean to me.
Definitely an aggressive play from Gonzalez. Unclear whether it was clean, but nevertheless, she'll head to the bench with 2 fouls of her own. Hannah Kelly checking back into this one for a little bit more defense.
And I think Skidmore could take a page out of the Jumbos' aggressiveness, like you mentioned. The Jumbos are getting too many clean passes off on their end, whereas Skidmore is really struggling to drive, struggling, to string a few passes together. And I think they could take a page right out of the Jumbos' playbook in order to stop the Jumbos' offensive run.
Not a whole lot of movement for the Thoroughbreds beyond the perimeter. Now McCarney pull-up jumper of her own, a little broken possession.
That's out of bounds,
It's out of bounds. Didn't matter, though. Just 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Wouldn't have had a chance to put that back up as Cassie Davidson re-enters for the Thoroughbreds with Becca Horger.
Yeah, and we the Thoroughbreds are no stranger to playing a bunch of different lineups. So, a lot of, like 9, 10, 11 women rotations. You're going to see that today as they experiment with a bunch of different lineups, trying to find the one that might be able to generate some offensive rhythm against what's been a potent Jumbo's defensive side.
Hannah Kelly, a 3 of her own, and it's good from Hannah Kelly. Got bumped on the end of it, but no call. Jumbo's now pulling away. They lead by 16.
Great shot by Hannah Kelly right there, and Maggie Russell making things happen.
I know 16-point lead is safe when the Thoroughbreds are in town. Cassie Davidson kicking it out. Finds Chambers. Chambers the 3. Excuse me, that was Madola. No good for her. Now O'Brien. Handling for the Jumbos. She drives, kicks out to Maggie Russell. Into Folliard. Nice move from her, puts it up. No good for her. Now Skidmore, the other way. It's Madola. In transition has Horger. Horger kicks it out. Davidson drives. The reverse layup's no good. Grabs her own rebound. Nice pass into Chen. Chen can't get it to go. Another offensive rebound for Skidmore. A broken possession. Callie O'Brien fighting for it. It's going to be Jumbo basketball. Excellent defensive effort from Callie O'Brien on that end.
Hey, absolutely, and two baskets right there. That first the Thoroughbreds should have had, but you admire the Jumbo's defensive effort. Callie O'Brien with the Jumbos in the bonus will be going to the line. She is a pretty solid free throw shooter, 18 for 21. That's good for 86% on the season.
O'Brien, who doesn't find herself at the stripe a whole lot, doing a lot of her damage in the mid-range. First free throw's up and no good.
Days without an announcer jinx will have to reset back to 0.
Thanks, Scott. And now O'Brien for the second try is up and no good for her. So missing both opportunities after Skidmore gave them a trip to the line. Now Madola handling for the Thoroughbreds. She drives but tipped away, and O'Brien, the beneficiary, tipped away by Decker. O'Brien now slows up the pace. 10-second difference between the shot and game clock, and O'Brien's going to slow it down. She's got 2 forwards looking to give her screens in Zeleny and Folliard. They'll start their play at 10 seconds. O'Brien drives around the Folliard screen, finds Zeleny up top. Back to O'Brien. Looking in for Folliard, and they turn the ball over. Davidson now. Looking for it back. The Jumbos have it. There's Decker. Confused by the crowd. They were counting it down a little earlier than she expected. And she puts up a 3, but it's no good from her.
Well, that's the home crowd trying to confuse the Thoroughbreds. Don't expect that kind of turnover there, and all of a sudden it gets in Decker's head.
Now Madola. Decker running with her. Fakes her by. And Madola sinks it at the buzzer to send the Thoroughbreds into half. Only down by 13 rather than 16. And after the miscue by Annika Decker, the Thoroughbreds have to be happy with that result.
At the minimum, that's a 5-point swing right there. That shot doesn't happen if Annika Decker doesn't take that deep shot. Maybe the Jumbos can get points out of it. Instead, 13 versus 16 does really feel different, especially, it is a great fake, first of all, to get Annika Decker flying out of there.
Absolutely, Scott, and we said it once before, no 16-point lead is safe with the Thoroughbreds in town. We'll take a break now as we are headed into halftime. The Jumbos lead in their home court of Ty Court in Cousins Gymnasium on the campus of Tufts University. They lead 40-27. We'll be back with you after the half.
Hi guys, my name is Michaela Paquette. I'm a sophomore forward on the Tufts women's basketball team.
My name is Sophia Gonzalez. I'm a sophomore and I'm a shooting guard.
My name is Sam Sousa and I'm a junior guard.
Callie O'Brien, I'm a junior point guard.
Pigeon.
Mal, maybe?
Sam.
Me.
Callie.
Callie?
Me or Annika.
Callie? Callie?
I honestly feel like it's all of us. Like, we put on a song and we all just jam out to it. It's just such an environment that you just want to be in. It's so fun. So all of us.
Mick.
Michaela. Me, Sam, Soda, and Pigeon.
Me.
What is it?
I go in the hot bath, then I rinse off in the shower. Hot bath hot, shower cold.
Callie.
What is it?
She sits in the hot bath for like -3 seconds and then gets out and just gets into it. I don't know. The hot bath is just a good relaxation before the game, and I admire her for doing that.
Me and Fidget make our TikTok,
Me and Callie.
and then we're ready to go.
Wait, hold on. You make the TikTok pregame?
We post it post-game. We make the TikTok pre-game.
Hannah? I see her norm attacking a lot after the games. I'll give her that.
Sam, you want to zoom in on Michaela's reaction to the answers real quick?
I don't know.
All of us.
Come on. We're looking for an answer.
There's an answer?
There's a very clear answer. There's 2 people on your team who have a very specific. Moment, you gotta be full of.
Wait, we're stupid. How did we not think of that?
All right, next question.
I don't know. Can I say me?
Yeah.
Okay, me.
Probably Fidget.
Pigeon.
Hannah. Sorry.
Like Mallory.
Mallory.
Fidget.
Oof.
And yeah, you can tell her that she doesn't listen to requests and she doesn't like read the crowd. Like if she'll play the weekend and then I'm like, oh, I don't like the weekend. She'll keep playing the weekend. Like I need Uzi or something.
Me.
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Caitlin. She's got the best aux and she never goes on aux. Caitlin, get on aux.
Thank you.
Let me show you something. Let me show you something.
Welcome back to Cousins Gymnasium on the campus of Tufts University for this NCAA Division III second round matchup between the Liberty League champion Skidmore Thoroughbreds and the NESCAC champion Tufts University and host Jumbos. Scott, entering the second half here, the Jumbos lead 40-27. It'd be a good time to check back in on those keys to the game that we talked about at the beginning of the game. We see win the turnover battle, dominate the paint, perimeter defense, and stay hot. It's pretty clear that both of these teams have stayed hot based on that first half. Really, just an incredible performance overall. But as for those other three, let's check in on them.
Yeah, well, if you were the Skidmore and you said, hey, you're winning the rebound battle, you'd feel pretty good about yourself. And indeed, coming out of the half, Skidmore is winning the rebound battle, albeit just by 1, 20-19, but they do have 8 offensive rebounds, the Jumbos 4, but that really hasn't reflected on the score sheet, and part of the reason is they haven't been very efficient with the ball, and they've had more turnovers going into that second key. The Jumbos have forced 7 steals so far, and it was really paced by Annika Decker and O'Brien, who played really tenacious perimeter defense towards the tail end of that second quarter. That's translated to 10 turnovers for Skidmore, only 7 for the Jumbos.
And Scott, it'd be really interesting to see how this second half shapes up. 18 points in the paint for the Jumbos in the first half, only 6 for Skidmore. So what had been working well for them virtually all season has been one of their shortcomings so far in this one. It's been a lot of Maggie Russell getting in deep, and the Jumbos finding her down low. It's also one of the reasons why so many of their baskets have been assisted. 14 assists already for the Jumbos. Their ball movement and their ability to find Maggie Russell in space has been tremendous.
And the Jumbos forwards overall, they've played just outstanding on both ends of the floor, and you can see it showing up in both the 18 and both the 6. You talked about Maggie Russell generating a lot of those points on the inside, absolutely, but especially on the defensive end, taking away scorers like Julia Blanc. Skidmore's been clearly reluctant to give her the ball when Maggie Russell's patrolling the paint.
And a foul already on this first possession. Davidson, the culprit.
And again,
O'Brien whistled for it.
And again, one thing you don't want to do is get in foul trouble early. We have seen the refs with a pretty quick whistle now, admittedly, for both sides. It's been pretty even, but they are calling a lot of, those touch fouls, a lot of those hand checks. Those can add up real quick, and then it can translate to free throws, and that can be a great opportunity for either team to either take control or get back into the game.
And Davidson, who caught fire in the second half of yesterday's game, scoring on this first possession here of the second half. Madola leading the way with 11 points for the Thoroughbreds. Now Maggie Russell and the Jumbos looking to answer. Find Gonzalez on the backdoor cut. Reverse layup's no good for her, and Blanc with the rebound.
That's the correct offense, and again, you see the Thoroughbreds struggling where there's no, and what a play, but first of all by Annika Decker.
Yeah, she picks her pocket. Doesn't have numbers, though. Finds O'Brien in transition for 3. And Callie O'Brien, good from deep.
And just to finish that thought, the Thoroughbreds continue to struggle with having a second layer of paint defense. The Jumbos are spacing everyone out really well, and there's no one to rotate on those cuts by basically anyone on the Jumbos side.
And Julia Blanc getting down low, answering right back. Skidmore coming out of the half with a fire.
And that's exactly what the Thoroughbreds need to do. Those quick passes, start on the outside, then get in really fast, get paint pressure, and get it to your best players like Julia Blanc.
And the Thoroughbreds have been here before. They know how to mount a comeback. O'Brien now finds Gonzalez in the corner. Now Maggie Russell off the dribble up against Davidson. Davidson, good defense. She's got a pass. O'Brien underneath the basket finds Souza. Only 3 seconds left on the shot clock from the mid-range. Off the glass and no good for Sam Souza. It'll be a turnover for the Jumbos. Skidmore now heading the other direction.
Much better defense. They play a little more aggressive on the ball early in the shot clock, so the Jumbos weren't able to set really anything up until 10, 11 seconds. And they played very good ball denial, and nothing set for the Jumbos on that possession.
Davidson fakes the 3. Right back into it. She takes one of her own, and it's good. Cassie Davidson catching fire in this second half.
Again, love to see the left-handers get involved. Cassie Davidson, pretty good three-point shooter, 37% on the season. You can see it right there.
Now Decker and the Jumbos looking to answer. Sousa looked like a travel. She might have shuffled her feet, but Davidson on the rebound. No good on the attempt from her. Now Madola in transition. Has Davidson. A lot of space. That's Plage. A lot of space for her. Davidson now drives against Gonzalez. They get her for the double dribble. A miss on the other end anyway for Blanc. The Jumbos will have it now. Their lead has been cut to single digits, and they've gone cold here in this second half.
No need to rush things here. You know, they've shown that, you know, it only takes one cut to get beyond the Thoroughbreds' first line of defense, and so they can just be patient in the shot clock and wait for that to happen.
Now Sousa all alone, decides not to take the three, drives on Blanc, who picks up her second block of the day, and it's headed the Thoroughbred direction.
Great defense. I mean, that's just, you know, that's elite defensive IQ to, you know, be able to read the shooter, know that's where that motion is going to go. And then, I mean, more of a stroke of luck than anything else, but still to get clean ball and then force it off Sousa. I don't think Jill Pace is very happy with the way the Jumbos have played offense to start this half. Still a 9-point game, but I like the timeout. They didn't necessarily use one in the first half. Might as well use one now when you can feel that the momentum's not exactly on your side. You're a bit disjointed.
Right, and we've criticized Pace a little bit earlier in the season for waiting too long to take that timeout, but wisely taking it right away. The Thoroughbreds are 3 of 3 coming out of the half. Jumbo's only 1 of 5. Could be a product of not moving the ball as well. Scott, how do you see it?
I agree. You know, I think we saw a couple plays there. You know, one Sousa shot that, you know, was a little out of control. We thought she got away with the travel, but even there, it felt like she was rushing that a little bit. And I think we saw another possession where the Jumbos had to wait until, you know, about 10 or 11 seconds with 10 or 11 seconds left in the shot clock to really establish anything. You know, the Thoroughbreds, after that first possession where you had that backdoor cut, they've done a better job of taking that away, even though Maggie Russell's been trying to run it. And I think the Jumbos are struggling a bit to kind of fall into that second or third option.
That's right, Scott. And still 7:17 left on the clock in the third quarter. A whole lot of basketball left to be played here at Cousins Gymnasium. We're getting ready to go here as the Thoroughbreds are set to inbound the ball. It's going to be Madola. Finds Plage. Davidson fakes a three. She drives with the left hand, tries to get it to her teammate down low. Blanc can't do it though. Now in transition, Gonzalez for three. And it's good.
Sophia Gonzalez has been outstanding today. That's her third three. She's 3 for 5, and she's been really big when the Jumbos need points. Double dribble, I think.
And a double dribble for the Thoroughbreds, going to send it in the Jumbo direction. Sophia Gonzalez certainly killing the momentum there.
And you see the benefit of that early timeout by Coach Pace. You know, you can feel the Jumbos letting it get away from them a little bit, but all of a sudden you're seeing a couple of good defensive possessions there. You know, in between, you get a wide open three and back to a 12-point game, essentially where you started at the outset of the second half.
Now Sousa. There's Russell down low, 2 on her. Sousa all alone, the long 2 foot on the line, no good for her, and there's Hastings on the boards. Madola, the ball handler, finds Davidson. Davidson fakes a 3. Skidmore running a little bit at a faster pace than they did in the first half. They get a travel down low there against Madison Meyer, the first-year guard.
I think Maddie Hastings, she set a good screen over there on Maggie Russell, but then she kind of just stood there. You know, she's not a prolific scorer. She actually didn't take a shot yesterday in over 30 minutes of play. But I still would like to see her do a little more movement off the ball there, maybe make some sort of backdoor cut, because, you know, if you set the screen and you don't move, it doesn't really create that separation that, you know, the screen is meant to do in the first place.
Now Decker. The 3 from Maggie Russell's no good off the back iron, and Hastings on the boards. Skidmore now with an opportunity. There's Blanc up top, swings it around to Hastings. Hastings, the drive, the pass, errant though, out of bounds, intended for Meyer. Now the Jumbos looking to add to their lead. They've seen it go down to as few as 9. Sits at 12 right now after the 3 from Gonzalez. Now Decker on the wing. Looking for Sousa, dribbles it right back out. Jumbos will reset the offense. Decker drives, finds Sousa. Sousa in a weird spot, finds Maggie Russell. Jumbos looking to get bailed out by her. She can't get it to go though, and Blanc on the rebound. Davidson looks a little winded, but there's Madola on the drive. A drive there from Meyer. She goes hard to the basket and gets fouled down low. A jumbo down. It looks like it's Decker, but she's right back up. Davidson will take a seat for Skidmore. At a media timeout now. Scott, let's take a look back into the box score. We look at the team stats in the third quarter. Skidmore, 7 points, Jumbo's 6. Jumbo's 2 of 9 from the field. What hasn't been working for them so far that they need to get back to?
Well, it feels like their spacing's been a little bit off. You know, they haven't been able to generate a lot of those inside cuts, especially since that first possession, you know, where Sofia Gonzalez made a great backdoor cut. And it felt like, you know, we're going to see more of the same, what we saw dominate the first half for the Jumbos, but it really hasn't been since. And it's been a good adjustment by the Thoroughbreds to be, I think, a little more aggressive on the ball and then more cognizant of where their defender is and where they are relative to the basket. They got really badly beat because they are essentially out of position in the first half to start the second half, but since then they've closed it really well. However, for Skidmore, you know, despite the fact that they've scored more points than the Jumbos this half, they haven't scored in over 3 minutes. You know, all those points came right at the beginning, and you know, these have been 3 very good defensive minutes. You know, they've only let the Jumbos get a few points, and they've done a good job clamping down, but they haven't been able to convert offensively, unfortunately, and they still find themselves down 12.
That's right, Scott, and still, only 3 shots have gone up for Skidmore. Granted, all 3 of them have gone in, but it's been 6 turnovers on the turned-up defensive intensity from this Tufts Jumbo squad.
And 3 in a row right up until this foul, which is almost an offensive foul, by the way. You had a double dribble, you had a bad pass, and you had an out of bounds. I mean, these are missed offensive possessions. You know, you can live with shots that miss, especially if they're open. You can't live with turnovers.
First free throws up and good for Madison Meyer. The first-year guard stands at a tall 5'4", one of the smaller guards on this Skidmore squad, but still showing that intensity and driving quite hard on the previous possession. Grabs her own rebound. Looked like it was off a jumbo, maybe Hannah Kelly. It's going to stay Thoroughbred ball.
Yeah, break right there. You know, she's a 65% free throw shooter on the year is Mayer, but, you know, misses the second, but she gets her own rebound. You really respect that hustle right there, always keeping sight of where the ball is.
Now Madola, the ball handler, finds Plage. Swings it around to Hastings. There's Meyer once again on the drive. That ball was tipped. Now Plage, she drives, gets through the defense, but can't get it to go. Now O'Brien. Meyer guarding her intently, tips it away, and O'Brien regains possession. Meyer trying to take it away once again. Little aggressive, and a block there from Blanc.
The reason she's the leading block getter in the Liberty League this year.
And the Blanc party has just begun. She's down low. Jump ball. Possession arrow will flip. It'll be jumbo ball. Joelle Zeleny enters for Sam Souza. And McCarney enters for Madison Meyer. Now Russell gets it into O'Brien behind an 11-point lead. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Jumbos running their offense. A whole lot more movement than before in this quarter. Now Russell, she's got it all alone. Looks for Zeleny. Zeleny on the drive. Puts it up and is blocked. Notice I said blocked because that's her 4th block. Now Skidmore coming the opposite direction. There's Plage. Now Hastings. The 3, no good off the glass for Madola, but Blanc trying to grab an offensive rebound. Can't do it on that end though, and Zeleny now to get the ball in for the Jumbos. Decker re-enters for Callie O'Brien. She'll get a little bit of a breather before the fourth quarter.
And Blanc is single-handedly anchoring this defense right now. I mean, you know, we talked about how Skidmore hasn't scored in a while, but neither of the Jumbos, you know, they've gone cold for a few minutes as well. And we've seen 2 blocks back, you know, and just overall a big defensive change. Getting Blanc more involved, more rotations, as we see a 3 there. And again, that's the good, well, first of all, good aggressive play right there by Joelle Zeleny. But, you know, to Blanc, you know, a shot like that with Joelle Zeleny pulling up from 3 with Blanc staying right in front of her, it's that defensive presence that's clearly altering the Jumbo's game plan right now. And it's, now it's up to the Thoroughbreds to convert that into offensive points and really cut down this lead a few points, at least before the quarter.
That's right, Scott, and that deny mentality on the defensive end has pulled off for them in this second half. Maggie Russell has been quieted, and now the Thoroughbreds looking to add on the offensive end. The drive from Plage through Zeleny and finishes. Now Annika Decker bringing up the ball for the Jumbos as the Thoroughbreds have cut this to single digits. Souza getting ready to come back in the game. Gonzalez to Russell. Russell drives, puts it up, and gets fouled by Julia Blanc. No block for her on that possession. I think she's got 3 in this quarter alone.
I don't think they're giving her free throws. Yeah. Maggie Russell thought she was in the shooting motion right there, and she probably was. I think, the reason the refs will not give it to her is because the foul occurred almost right as she was trying to go up, and it wasn't clear if there's that upward motion. But, we know Maggie Russell, we can at least say we're pretty confident she did intend to shoot there.
That's right, Scott. But again, Skidmore has been playing the deny game. They've been trying to take that ball away from her before it can even get into her hands. Maggie Russell, maybe a makeup call. She gets a hand check down there. But again, really just trying to make sure she can't put it up. They're playing the strategy of don't let her beat you, let anyone else on the floor do it. Now Gonzalez drives, tries to do it herself, looking for Russell, somehow gets it in, but Blanc, once again, her 4th block of the quarter. She's got 5 in the game, and the Jumbos trying to trap. They get Sofia Gonzalez on the hand check, and she's got to watch her mouth. Again, reading lips. Davidson re-enters now for the Thoroughbreds.
And on Blanc, it's been a clear adjustment. She's rotating very, very clearly. Anytime anyone on the perimeter looks like they're going to drive, we saw it in the corner with Sofia Gonzalez. She looked like she was going to get a step, and you saw immediate movement from Blanc, movement that you didn't see unless she was the primary defender earlier, and that's why she's had so many blocks this quarter.
The Jumbos forcing another turnover, getting ready to go on the offensive end. It's Decker. Jumbos going with a taller unit here with Zeleny, Souza, and Russell. Haven't used Kaylin O'Boyle a whole lot since she picked up her 2nd foul in the 2nd quarter. Now Russell picks up her dribble, finds Decker. Decker drives all the way around. Zeleny, the mid-range, no good for her. Skidmore taking the rebound. Still only a single-digit lead here for the Jumbos. A strong drive. Pulling it back is McCarney. Can't get it to go, and Russell, another rebound. Both teams have seemingly gone cold from the field here in the second half of this 3rd quarter. Russell, the long 2, and gets it to go. Digging deep into her bag of tricks.
Yeah, Maggie Russell showing you, she's beat you mostly from the inside so far, but there she's, let me just pull up long 2, no reason about it, and it's right through.
Now Skidmore looking to answer. Finds Davidson. She mishandles. Has it on the elbow. Kicking around to McCarney. McCarney, top of the key, gets a screen. Maggie Russell quick to switch. The little short jumper is good for McCarney. Kate McCarney, the senior guard, finishing there, cutting it back to single digits.
And good recognition by McCarney there, recognizing that Russell's angle. If she could get by her initially, she'd have a couple steps. Exactly what she did rather than settling and got the easy 2.
Now Souza on the wing. There's Gonzalez, and a hand check there from Madola. I was going to say she got a little handsy at the top of the key. Skidmore had a foul to give, though. Still only 3 in the quarter as Callie O'Brien gets set to re-enter. She takes out Gonzalez. She'll take a bit of a rest. Gaining a little bit of defense, switching in O'Brien. Now Decker finds Russell. Back to Decker. Decker top of the key, 15 seconds left on the shot clock. She drives with the right, pulls it back. Maggie Russell for 3. Can't get it to go. Zeleny fighting for the rebound. The Thoroughbreds pulling it away. Pushing in transition, that's McCarney. Nice move around Decker. Up top, that's Blanc. Madola on the wing. Souza trying to take it away, 3 seconds left. The Jumbo crowd got into her there, and the Jumbos coming away a little lucky there at the end. Jumbo crowd helping them out a little bit, but the Thoroughbreds have cut the Jumbo lead to 9 here after 3.
Yeah, and we talked about it midway through. There was a point at which the Thoroughbreds were 3 for 3, but they'd only taken 3 shots, and they'd caught up a bit. But even so, the Jumbos took 7 more shots than the Thoroughbreds, and despite that, Tufts actually made 2 less shots. It was a really, frankly, good quarter by Skidmore. You know, they really cracked the defensive code. They did a much better job defensively. They just couldn't translate it to offense. You know, on the defensive end, it's an adjustment that the Jumbos might need to make when they attack the Skidmore defense, because Julia Blanc has been far more aggressive. It's been clear that she's given free reign to rotate off whoever her primary assignment is, to basically take away anything down low, and it's worked so far. The question for both teams is, how do you adjust? If you're Skidmore, how do you translate that into offensive energy? Is it, trying to launch the fast break more? That's what they did yesterday. They turned in the fourth quarter. They generated 8 fast break points. They held Johns Hopkins to 0, and that helped them turn the tide. Will they be able to do something similar? It's a very similar setup for the Thoroughbreds. They were down 10 going into the fourth yesterday. They're down 9 going in today.
That's right, Scott, and it's been Julia Blanc and her block party. She's got 5 in the game already. Only 2 personal fouls, so can continue to be aggressive down in the paint and really hound her defenders using all of her 5'11" frame. The defensive intensity has been there for Skidmore. It's been one of the reasons they've been able to crawl back into this one, trailing 13 at the half, trailing by 9 now with 10 minutes left on the clock. And we're underway, headed to the fourth quarter of this single elimination NCAA Women's Division III basketball tournament. Once again on the campus of Tufts University, the hosts. Jumbos winners of the New England Small College Athletic Conference. Skidmore the winners of the Athletic League. And a nice pass into Maggie Russell. She can't get it to go, but Blanc doing a good job to deny from her. Maggie Russell thought it was an over the back.
Yeah, it might have been, but, at the end of the day, you might not call that, especially given that it went off of the Skidmore players. It'll stay here.
Now Souza swings it around to Kelly. And taken away by Levitz. Off Maggie Russell, it's going to be Skidmore ball. And immediately coming out in this fourth quarter with the defensive intensity.
Yeah, and that's unbelievable awareness by Levitz. First of all, you think, a lot of times you get that, you draw a foul there, you would call Russell for a block there. But knowing there was no whistle, good awareness to then throw it off Russell and avoid having it hit her lying on the baseline.
Now McCarney finds Levitz. The three-point threat cannot connect. And Maggie Russell on the boards for the Jumbos. She's got a double-double now, 18 and 10. Callie O'Brien, top of the key. Looking for Decker, but a miscommunication sends it out of bounds. It's going to be Skidmore basketball.
Yeah, and Skidmore's been the better team for the first minute. They've come out very good defensive intensity, and that was a really well-done offensive play to free Levitz at the top of the key. And it very nearly went in, and all of a sudden we would have been talking about would have been a 6-point game had that gone in.
McCarney now handling for Skidmore. Davidson, a 3. No friendly roll that time, and there's Blanc on the offensive glass. Has Levitz wide open, takes a 3 of her own. That's McCarney. Now Decker bringing up the ball for the Jumbos, and Scott, we've got a 6-point game. 8.5 minutes left to go here on tie court. Decker drives. Nice move, shakes Davidson. Souza, a 3 of her own, and no good for her.
That has been the biggest adjustment, is Blanc, whose primary assignment is Souza, has just given up on guarding the 3. And Souza has not made them pay yet. It's allowed Blanc to rotate down low, and the Jumbos have been basically toothless in the paint. And it's allowed Skidmore to get right back into this game.
Levitz drives. Off the dribble, no good for her. Russell finds Decker. Decker now top of the key. Finds Souza. Souza drives, finds Kelly. Kelly the runner. No good. The Jumbos settling for some not great quality looks. And Skidmore, the beneficiaries, only trailing by 6. Looking to cut the deficit once again. That's McCarney. Finds Plage. Plage up top. Davidson. Hannah Kelly guarding. Davidson on the drive. Nice move from her. Hannah Kelly swats. No good. And a foul. Down underneath. That's going to be on Maggie Russell.
Yeah, and just looking defensively, I really can't say enough what an incredible adjustment Skidmore has made. And I'm not sure if that stems directly from the coaching staff and Coach Turner, or whether that's from Julia Blanc herself. But, it's just been incredible to see her just completely different mindset, roaming the paint, seeking out the ball rather than staying on her primary assignment. And the Jumbos have no idea what to do.
Davidson, the three-pointer short. Blanc and Russell fighting for the rebound. Russell comes away with it, and the Jumbos headed the opposite direction. Coach Jessica Turner, in her 5th year, won coaching staff of the year for this Skidmore squad. Now Maggie Russell drives, pushes off Davidson. Zeleny in the paint over Davidson. Can't get it to go, grabs her own board, and they get Davidson on the whistle. Looked like she was straight up, but Zeleny headed to the line for 2.
Yeah, and Davidson just, got caught sleeping for basically half a second. She rotated off of Maggie Russell, and so she wasn't primary defending anymore. But when that ball rolled out, she wasn't in position to grab the board.
Zeleny's first is good. Extends the Jumbo lead to 7. And it has been a defensive showdown here in Cousins. Jumbo's with 50, Skidmore 42. Both teams really dialing it up a notch. Now McCarney guarded by Decker. McCarney drives left. Picks up her dribble. Looking for some help, finds Levitz. Levitz top of the key. Shakes her defense. A drive from Plage. No good for her. And now Callie O'Brien pushes the pace for the Jumbos. Finds Gonzalez into Zeleny. Zeleny dribbles back out, and the Jumbos will reset. Decker, top of the key, finds O'Brien. O'Brien on the wing. Doesn't use Maggie Russell's screen. Instead, they use the off-ball screen, and Gonzalez blocked down low. Zeleny fighting for the board. O'Brien comes away with it. Skidmore staying strong on defense. O'Brien drives on Levitz, pulls up, no good. Blanc on the boards. 15 rebounds for Julia Blanc to go with 5 blocks and 8 points. She's been stellar in this contest. And now McCarney handles, finds Davidson. Davidson gets it to Blanc. Out to McCarney for 3. Off the back iron, no good. And now Decker for the Jumbos.
Yeah, I don't know if I understand, the desire to take those quick threes. I still think the Thoroughbreds could be playing more inside offensively.
And Decker, the strong drive through contact, can't finish though. And now McCarney gets a screen from Davidson.
Timeout coming.
And here comes the timeout from Coach Jessica Turner. Her offense has come stagnant, and she'll talk this one over with her team. We look at some fourth quarter statistics, and Skidmore just 1 of 8. The Jumbos 0 for 7. Neither team firing on the offensive end, and we said it was a defensive contest before, but oh my, do those numbers make you think that?
Yeah, and it really does feel like the Jumbos are getting the short end here, and that it feels like Skidmore should be making more shots. I think they've made the adjustment defensively, and they've had some offensive possessions. They just haven't hit a couple of their shots, and I think that it speaks to what we've been talking about all game, which is Skidmore. Besides the third quarter, they were getting up the shots. They just weren't being efficient with the ball, and I think that same problem continues to plague them. I want to see better passing. You don't need a 3 yet. You have 5 minutes. You've strung together many stops this quarter. You don't need to. You can assume you're going to do the same. You have to assume if you're going to win this game either way. So don't be afraid. To go inside, to take more time down the shot clock and look for that better 2-point shot.
That's right, Scott. It is March, and we expect madness. 34-24 has been the time with the lead for the Jumbos. 5:14 left on the clock, so they've led practically from the opening tip, basically from their first possession. And now the Jumbos looking to hold on to their lead. Skidmore's come storming back from down as much as 16. It's now only an 8-point game.
And it's remarkable that Skidmore across these 2 games has now led for a combined 25 seconds, and yet they're within 8 points in the second round.
McCarney gets it into Blanc, guarded by Zeleny. Takes her off the dribble. Spin move. Can't get the friendly roll. And Callie O'Brien now will handle for the Jumbos. Gets a screen from Russell, finds Zeleny, top of the key. She's hesitant to take it herself. Maggie Russell instead takes it to Davidson. Zeleny, catch and shoot. No good. And Blanc on the boards once again. That's 16 for her.
And yet again, you see Blanc basically abandoning whoever's going to shoot the 3 and letting it happen. And the Jumbos have yet to make her pay for it.
The only Jumbo that's consistently been able to strike from long distance has been Gonzalez. Her and Hannah Kelly, the only 2 with great percentages today. McCarney, a 3 of her own. No good. It's become the three-point battle, and it seems to have stopped raining here in Medford. Now McCarney, top of the key. Gets it to Hastings, into Blanc. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Blanc, the step back. Gets fouled and bailed out by Maggie Russell. She's disappointed with the call. That's her second foul, but it's going to be 3 shots for Julia Blanc.
Yeah.
Maybe just 2. Couldn't tell if she was behind the line. They do say it's 2.
Yeah, and it was a foul, and it is a bailout, but it is a foul. But at the same time, a thoroughbred's just, there's too much dribbling. So you see the first shot go in there. There's just too much dribbling. There's no screens up the top of the key, passing, and then everyone's clearing out. It's isolation, but, it seems like whoever has the ball hasn't gotten that message and is keeping it to the top of the key, and you just can't have that right now. You really just can't.
And Blanc can't get her second to go, so still 9 points, 1 point away from a double-double. McCarney's got 10 for Skidmore. Maggie Russell looking to add herself. Can't get it to go. The little turnaround jumper, no good for her. Now Skidmore within 7. It's McCarney. She drives left. Decker with her. A nice screen from Levitt. But O'Brien quick to switch. Levitt now. Up top, it's McCarney. McCarney around 1. Dribbles it off her leg, and the Jumbos take it on a Skidmore turnover. Decker on the wing now, back up to O'Brien. Jumbos will take their time here with just over 3 minutes, left on the clock. Now Zeleny on the wing, up to Gonzalez. She drives. Jumbos haven't given them a reason to respect the three-pointer, and Blanc grabbing another board. Gonzalez forced that one up, tried to finish through contact. Davidson fakes a 3. Had some contact. They're going to get Gonzalez on the whistle there. Rather, they're going to get Skidmore. That's going to be against Blanc.
I'm not so sure about that one. I understand a no call there, and I did feel like Blanc was just going for the ball there, and if anything, it was Gonzalez who extended the arm. But yeah, and Coach Turner is honestly rightly upset there. I think at the very least I could justify a no call, but I'm not so sure how that's a foul on Skidmore.
I mean, Scott, I'm clearly in agreement with you. I thought that one was against Gonzalez all the way, but the Jumbos catch a break, and it'll be headed the Jumbo direction. Sitting behind 7 points with 2:53 left to go in the fourth quarter. A wise timeout there from Coach Pace. Again, trying to calm down your squad. Haven't had a whole lot of NCAA tournament basketball experience. Again, last year got knocked out by Amherst.
Yeah, and I think both offenses have just become a little too predictable. Both are trying to do what they think has worked so far, and you can see it. I mean, you can see it in the production and really what feels like very stagnant possessions. The unfortunate thing, if you're Skidmore, is when you're chasing the lead, you can't afford to trade. Can't afford to trade bucket for bucket. You also can't afford to trade no bucket for no bucket, which has really been the story of those last few minutes.
Right now, we're under 3 minutes to go, and the Jumbos looking to add. Callie O'Brien finds Gonzalez around to Zeleny. She takes a 3 of her own with confidence, and no good for her. Looked like it was off the hands of Annika Decker, but they call it off McCarney. And again, seems like a miscue by this officiating crew.
Yeah. I mean, they've been very solid all day. I think that one might have hit Decker. You could tell by her reaction. The more the quicker you are to bring your hands away from where the ball was, I think the more likely you usually are knowing that you actually did touch it. And it felt like that was one of those times.
Now O'Brien finds Russell. There's Callie O'Brien, screen from Zeleny. Zeleny resetting back up top to O'Brien. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Decides not to take the screen. O'Brien needs help. Finds Decker. 5 seconds left. Into Russell. She tries to back down Davidson, and a whole lot of contact down low. Still no call, though. Nice behind-the-back move from Madola. And Skidmore crosses the timeline. The Skidmore fans are livid with the officiating crew. Nice move there from Madola. Gets it out to Levitz. Ball fake. Back to Madola. Madola the 3. No good. Fighting for the rebound down low. They're going to get the Jumbos for that one. Really good job crashing the boards by Maddie Hastings. And they're going to get the Jumbos on the whistle.
Yeah, and on the other end, those missed foul calls. I think Maggie Russell got away with an offensive foul. But I think she also was was on the receiving end what looked like a missed loose ball foul on the other end. So I do think that canceled out over there.
Definitely not a makeup call. Levitz, the three. No good for her, but a rebound by Maddie Hastings. Skidmore's been excellent on the offensive glass. Levitz, and she connects. Don't let a shooter take the same shot twice. And Levitz, Andy Levitz, the sophomore guard, cutting this to 4 points with 1:42 left to go here in Cousins.
Yeah, and Levitz has taken a ton of shots from three on the season. I mean, 120, that's that's almost double what the next highest shooting guard or anyone on this team has taken. So, I mean, if you're going to give her open looks, she's going to make them eventually. It's just, she's too good of a player to miss that many. The Jumbos have been playing with fire all quarter. They have not been able to convert on anything on the offensive end. They've allowed second chance opportunities. That was a second chance opportunity right there. And finally, it's come back to bite them. In spite of the stagnant offense that both teams have been playing, it only takes a couple shots like this, and all of a sudden you realize that you have yourselves a game on the hand. I mean, 1 minute, 42 seconds, anything can happen in 1 minute and 42 seconds because it's March, Sam. And what does March mean?
It's madness, Scott. March means madness, and with 1:42 left to go, Skidmore trails by 4. They've trailed by as much as 16 yesterday, overcoming a 16-point deficit. And now, looking to stun the host Tufts Jumbos. Just one more refresher. Skidmore, the winners of the Liberty Conference. The Jumbos, the winners of the New England Small College Athletic Conference, better known as the NESCAC. 2 teams from both of these conferences are still dancing here in the NCAA Division III Women's Basketball Tournament. We'll see if there's 3 after this.
Sam, the Jumbos are 0 for 12 in the quarter.
And clearly have been unable to connect. What had been working is no longer.
That's a foul,
Sophia Gonzalez adding the conventional three-point play. Something finally works for the Jumbos, and Gonzalez rolling around that off-ball screen. They get it to her, and she connects.
And it's that backdoor cut again. I mean, the Thoroughbreds have done an unbelievable job of taking it away, but finally Gonzalez gets space. That's now the 3rd basket she's made off that cut alone. And plus the contact, huge swing right there.
And it'd be even bigger if she can connect on this free throw. 6 points looks a whole lot different from 7. Difference between 2 and 3 possessions. Gonzalez's free throw is up and good. Gets the friendly roll, and now Skidmore trails 7 with 1:20 left to go.
Can't afford to have effectively any empty possessions going forward. You've got to get points on every time you touch the ball.
Madola drives. Off the glass, no good. Callie O'Brien fighting for the rebound, and Skidmore looking for the jump ball, but they get the foul on Madola. It's the team's 4th. It's going to be headed the Jumbo's direction. Skidmore, no more fouls to give the rest of the way. Every other foul defensively will result in Jumbo free throws.
And it's a particular killer because they would have retained the ball on the jump ball.
Now Decker. She drives, pulls it back out. Jumbos have a lot of time, and Skidmore has brought up a little bit more pressure. Got to be careful here. Davidson guarding Maggie Russell.
I think there needs to be more trap action right there. Yeah, I mean, I think with that much time, maybe you don't need to foul, but at the very least, you need to trap. I think you can't. I mean, this is going to get down to close to 40 seconds. That's not enough time for the most part to get 7 points up. But and then what you ended up with is a poorly executed trap and then contact, kind of the worst of both worlds.
Look for Levitz on the other end after these Maggie Russell free throws. First one's up and good. Levitz, the sharp shooter from long range, re-enters for Skidmore. Maggie Russell's second's up and good. Now Amelia Madola brings up the ball for the Thoroughbreds. Gets a screen. The 3 from Plage, no good off the glass. They grab the rebound though. Davidson puts it up and is fouled down low by Decker. So Davidson wisely getting to the line. The 4th foul on the Jumbos. First foul on Decker, and Cassie Davidson looking to cut the deficit. Skidmore trails by 9. Make that 8. Davidson's free throws up and good. Second free throw good as well. Thoroughbreds trail by 7, 41.2 seconds left to go. And here comes that full court press, Scott.
Yeah, an underrated substitution there because it allows you to set up that press while the ref has to hold the ball.
And Maggie Russell bumping Davidson, but it's going to be Davidson picking up the foul. Skidmore playing aggressively lately.
Yeah. Davidson trying to. Yeah, I'm not sure what just happened. And Davidson probably intentionally, the Jumbos were huddling up there, and Davidson just kind of hung around and sat, stood right in the huddle. The refs had to come in and break it up. I don't think there will be any further action, but you can see Davidson talking to the ref right now, saying, I was just minding my own business, and you know what? At the very, I don't mind it at all. Get in Maggie Russell's head. Nothing else has seemed to work.
And Maggie Russell connecting from the free throw line. We know she likes to talk quite a bit when she's out on the floor. Second one's up and good.
Well, if you're going to talk, you better back it up, and she really has so far. That's 22 points to now lead all scorers.
And a strong drive there from Meyer. Underneath the foul. We'll see if they count the bucket. Likely going to be on the floor. Regardless, it'll result in 2 free throws. And Sofia Gonzalez has fouled out for the Jumbos. A strong performance for Sofia Gonzalez in this one. 3 of 5 from deep. 14 points overall and 2 assists to go with 2 rebounds. Picking up her 5th foul, though. She's done for the day as Madison Meyer at the line. First free throw's up and good. Now Meyer. It's up and good for her. Coming in now for Skidmore is Amelia Giacomati. As Maggie Russell gets fouled immediately after the inbounds pass, she'll be headed to the line. 7-point lead for the Jumbos. Maggie Russell looking to make it 8 and 9 with these 2 free throws. Both teams in the bonus. 30.6 left to go. And Maggie Russell trying to put this one on ice. First free throw is short. Second one's up and good. 8-point lead for the Jumbos. Meyer lets it roll. She picks it up for the Thoroughbreds. And this one all but over. Meyer drives strong to the basket, and Zeleny gets fouled after grabbing the rebound. She'll be at the line shooting 2. Looking to make this 9 and 10. And Scott, this one all but over here in Cousins Gymnasium. An excellent season for Skidmore, but the Jumbos just too hot entering. They were able to cool off the Thoroughbreds just enough to keep them at bay. And Zeleny trying to end it here. It was really the tale of 2 defenses, and we saw an incredible NCAA Division III women's basketball tournament game.
Yeah, no, this was a really great game, start to finish. And it felt like, there was a point where it felt like the Jumbos might just run away with it. But, credit where credit is due. The Thoroughbreds played like they deserved to be here because they absolutely did. Their defense was outstanding, and their adjustments, are particular to keep them in the game, were really, really top of the line.
Thoroughbreds will fight until the final whistle. They've got it's going to be a jump ball down there. The Thoroughbreds will retain possession with 4.7 seconds left. But this one, again, all but over here at Cousins Gymnasium. Once again, we'll take you in the box score. Leading the way for the Thoroughbreds was Amelia Medola, Kate McCarney, and Julia Blank. 11, 10, and 9, respectively. An excellent game for Blanc. 5 blocks. Almost a double-double for her, but the Jumbos still dancing here in Medford. We'll see who hosts next weekend. Likely to be Christopher Newport, one of the top-ranked teams in the nation right now. But the Jumbos come away with it, a 59-50 victory.
Yeah, and paced by Maggie Russell. What more can we say? She's been the Jumbo's best player. She was NESCAC Player of the Year, and she showed it today. 23 points, 7 for 16, so, not her most efficient game, But I mean, she was always, she put in points where it mattered most. She started the first half, she was really hot. She allowed the Jumbos to get into the lead, and then in the second half, she added it where it counted, and she particularly played great defense. She took away the paint the entire game, and the Jumbos overall have a lot to like about this game, in particular their defensive effort, because you're going to be playing against a lot of high-powered teams in the next few rounds, and they can build on this going forward.
Absolutely, Scott, and a team full of young stars getting ready to keep dancing the rest of the way. A 59-50 victory here in Medford, and Jill Pace's Jumbos keep at it. The Tufts University men's basketball team unfortunately took a defeat against Keene State earlier today. So for all of us here on JumboCast, we won't have a post-game interview for you, as it is NCAA Division III tournament games. It's been a pleasure commentating games for you on JumboCast. This may be the last time I put on the headset. Really just an incredible ride for me. I know we don't like to make it about us up here, but the 59-50 victory, no better way to send it off. From all of us here at JumboCast, I was joined by Scott Blatt. I'm Sam Brill. Thank you, and please, for the last time, please stay home safely.